Hey, friends, thanks for joining us today. We are really excited about the guest that we have on today, just as much as we're excited about ConExpo. And the reason that we're talking about ConExpo will be revealed in our conversation today. But thank you for listening. As always, I'm here with my podcast host, Angela Gardner, and I'm here with Patrick Scarpati. And we are really excited to dive into this conversation. A little bit about Patrick that I loved when I read his bio, and we had a conversation. We've had a couple of conversations, actually. Um, He's a graduate of the ABC Apprenticeship Program, Associated Builders and Contractors, and he's a licensed HVAC journey person by trade. And there's a -R after the HVAC, and I don't know a lot about mechanical, so I don't know what that is. We might have to learn more about it. But he's also led numerous construction technology initiatives, and he's here with us today to talk about the future of technology in construction. So we're really excited about having him on. Thank you, Patrick, for being here. You want to just tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, and thank you, Christi and Angela. This is such a great opportunity. The R, by the way, in HVAC-R stands for refrigeration. So there's our little
Ah,
fun
Okay.
fact for the
fun
day.
fact.
But HVAC covers so many things in the world of construction. But just great, you read through some of the bio. I wanted to highlight just a few things there. Where yes, I am a graduate of the apprenticeship program. I also like to look at the opposite side of that and mention that I never graduated college. I tried college, just ended up not being a fit for me. And then I found my way into the trades probably in like my mid 20s. And I thought I was late to the game, but I ended up not being too late by any means. Very exciting. And that really set me up for helping support the industry just through working with ABC members. I valued ABC's mission and what they're doing for the industry. And through volunteer leadership, I found myself on an education trust at a chapter, volunteering on a few committees. And then I did get nominated to join a board. So I was on the board of directors at a
Nice.
chapter as well. And then the opportunity to join ABC, the national office here about two and a half years ago with the focus in construction technology and innovation. But I love to lean on my background, my relationships, and my experience and show that level of empathy for everyone that's already in the industry or ones that are looking from the outside going, where's the value for me to get into construction? And I can tell you there's a lot of great things about this industry, especially in the tech world, which I'm sure we're going to talk about today.
We are, and it is the most exciting industry out there. I'm just saying. I'm a little biased, but I'm just saying. Our backgrounds are very similar, actually. But I didn't go to national to work. I became president and CEO of ABC Carolinas. So it's very
Pretty cool.
interesting. Yeah, it is very cool, and you can bring such a great perspective, right, to your role there, Patrick, with the background that you have, and we are really blessed to have you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into some topics here. Why now? So for listeners who know ABC by name, but may not know its impact, obviously we just hit on a few things, right? Apprenticeships. What are the biggest ways ABC is helping contractors win right now?
If speaking through the technology lens, what we're
Mm-hmm.
doing with our construction technology and innovation, not just our team that work at ABC National, but our committee. We have 22 member companies represented on our committee. And when we get together and we talk, we're talking about technology and innovation strategies that are going to impact contractors of all sizes. And it's a clear reminder that everybody has access to so much technology. And we talk about the hurdles on implementation, adoption. We get the question of what is ROI, but with these group of leaders and that level of knowledge that we have, we can share that with members and with chapters alike and introduce it in all facets of ABC because ABC is broken up into so many buckets strategically.
Right.
Technology is not a just its own bucket. And that's done on purpose because it's everywhere. It's all around us, on the job site, off the job site. And we understand that, and we're looking at so many different angles to help our members grow and innovate, and in turn, hopefully, start bringing in that younger workforce that is attracted. Maybe they're attracted to the technology, and we can lean on them while our current workforce is leaning on the this new workforce coming in.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And it's bringing in people that wouldn't consider being in our industry. AI has really made a big difference in technology.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's go ahead, Angela.
No, you go, Patrick.
Again, I always reference back to where I started, because starting out in the field and going through the apprenticeship program, working during the day, getting those on the job hours, and then the classroom time, I wasn't really exposed to technology yet. So I never even started out in this career of technology. I eventually just fell into it and realized what is happening? What are these, iPads and BIM? I want to do more of that. And that's kind of the reminder for the industry that we're in, is even though you're there to learn a specific craft, or you're going to be a construction management major at a 4-year university, that's never going to be your end game in construction. What that does is open the door now, and you can go in so many different leadership directions in the industry, especially in technology, and just get your hands on some of the greatest tools, and help everyone around us with adoption.
Yeah. It's incredible what you can do. Like, you can literally pave your own way.
Yeah,
based
absolutely.
on what your interests are and what you're good at and what your gifts are.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, whenever you're implementing anything new in our industry, whether it be, just even in the masonry field or something where it's those new, just all the walls that are built rather than, doing it the regular way, or whatever new thing it is, there's always a hurdle, or a process in order to implement it. So this is nothing new with the tech world. But so Patrick, the ABC 2025 Field Tech Report puts the spotlight on job site technology. If you had to give us the one takeaway leaders should act on this quarter, what is it? Because you're talking to all the top leaders and even the smaller companies that are doing this, right?
Yeah, and this tech report, this is the 5th one from ABC. So think about it: the technology and innovation at ABC on the strategy side is still at its infancy, and yet there's this huge impact that's going on just with this 5th tech report. And the idea behind this report, which really goes into the answer to the question, is, we've talked about AI in previous tech reports. We've done surveys, we've talked about software, but we really wanted the focus to be on some of this hardware that our construction job site teams are getting their hands on. The people that are building, that are actually out there, they're the ones implementing the technology. So there's nothing better than going directly to them, superintendents, or safety professionals, or foremen, getting their feedback. What's it been like? What are you using? How is it impacting you day in and day out? Are you a GC? Are you an HVAC company? Are you a plumber? Are you an electrician? What are these tools that you're using? And then, having these conversations and then publishing it, I think it helps not just ABC members, because this report's open to the entire industry. We're here to help build up the entire industry. I think companies can look at that and go, you know what? I think we can do that. It's not as big of a hurdle as we think. We can put some strategy behind it. We can put some manpower. We can have champions, the field champions or the office champions, help lead the way, and understand that all the technologies that they're talking about, they're endorsed by ABC members. They're proudly talking about, we're using this laser scanner, or we're using this robotic total station to lay out some of this underground plumbing, and this is how we got to this point, and this is how it's impactful. So it's the idea of those real world case studies, that's such a huge impact for everybody to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can read all you want to read, but when you see what's happening in the field and things are happening and you're saving time and you're saving money, I mean,
Mhm.
that's when the real stories make an impact, right, Patrick? And that's a great segue into some questions I wanted to ask you. The report talks about tools and drones and robotics and laser scanning and job site security. What are you seeing as the fastest adoption? And what's actually moving the needle for safety, productivity, and quality?
That's an awesome question. I'm glad I was trying to figure out a way to drop some of this data into this conversation. You just did it. That's great. So,
Oh,
not
good,
just through
good. I'm
the yeah,
glad.
look, and not just through this report alone, because even though we highlighted a fixed number of case studies, we had contractors submit so many case studies, and we're sitting on a backlog. We publish those through other means and methods. Um, but when it comes to understanding what are you adopting, why are you adopting it, what are you using this technology for, we can lean on other sources that we have at ABC, and one of them is our Excellence in Construction programming.
Mhm.
And within that, we do ask these companies, and it's not the biggest companies when you think of revenue, right? The I think the number that comes to mind in EIC is these $20 million and below projects. These aren't the big stadium projects where you can have everything. And we're asking these questions: what are the technologies that you're using? And consistently at the top over the past 2 years is going to be project management software. So you're
Yes.
digitizing your workflows. So if you think of things like Procore,
Right.
Autodesk has ACC, like there's so many, and that's a high number. That's great to see. But then number two is safety technology. That's great to see. So
Nice.
we're
Mhm.
digitizing, and of course that could be built into the project management side. But we want to understand, okay, safety technologies. What does that mean? What are you using this technology for within your safety program? And we're seeing things like training, getting
Mm,
access to training, uh, going around a job site for inspections, for observations, for incidents. Like you're tracking everything. It comes down to data. That's really what it is, because in the future, as you're collecting this data, and you're going to have, you can have the safest job site. But as you progress through your company, if you're looking to grow and build bigger projects, you can now reflect back on these historical projects as you're bidding, and you can present data. You can present your step data to an
yes.
owner that you're bidding and say, look, we are a safe company. The trade partners that we hire, guess what? They are also safe. And here's proof that we have, because we've been tracking it
Yeah.
this entire time. So at least at the two at the top of the list, there's one more I wanted to add, which is fascinating, are drones. You mentioned drones from the
Yeah.
report, but drones is pushing at I think it was almost 50% of EIC. This is from 2024.
Wow.
And again, it's a reminder that these tools are accessible to contractors of all sizes, whether you're buying it yourself or you're hiring a third party service to provide um, the drone flights and the data processing for you after the fact. But that's on the rise, and hearing case studies around that on job site progress monitoring, whether it's for security or for safety, getting stockpiles of dirt. You can do that with a drone, with a click of a button.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating. So I really wanted to bring up those three as they really continue to rise in adoption.
Love it. Love the fact that safety's number two. Absolutely love that. Sorry. I had to applaud when you said that.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
again, if you get talking to members, even if you want to go down a tech adoption journey, and this is me putting on my former member hat and living through some of these experiences through technology adoption and implementation, is let's start with safety. If we're going to be serious about safety, we got to be
Mhm.
serious about tracking this data, and how are we tracking it, and then eventually how can we forecast
Yeah.
and understand, based on certain activities happening on a job site, or is there a higher probability of a potential incident because of historical data? We've built 5 projects like this in the past 8 years. So, we can say with some level of certainty that we can almost predict that these activities we can now plan ahead of time and be proactive and not as much reactive anymore.
Yeah, I think our industry might have been one of the last to adopt the proactive. At least the 26 years I was in the field, I felt like we were always reacting. All my customers were reacting. It was not a proactive approach, but I bring the proactive approach, and that's why I was so successful, because I did like to pre-plan. I don't like surprises. I like to be ready for anything, and my customers enjoyed that.
This is a fragmented industry, and by that I mean not one project's going to be the same.
No.
That's what it is.
That's what's fun about it.
Yeah, that's the challenging part, is finding the solution that works best for your company. Name a company, put their name there, and they're going to say, "This is the blank way. This is how we build. This is how we go about business to ensure that we have an A+ culture on and off the job site."
Yeah, and it's variable, all across the board. It's variable. Thank you for that.
Yeah, we have our ABC Carolina's Safety and Health Summit coming up.
Friday.
And actually, they are going to talk, one of our safety directors will talk about the drone use of safety. And it's pretty cool. So
I can't wait.
I know. Okay, so when these tech tools hit the field, what changes first? Roles, skills, expectations. And how should contractors be training up foremen and supers and craft professionals so that tech becomes an advantage and not a headache?
A question that I've always thought of related to this in the past, in talking with members and going to ABC events, is as companies are hiring people in this day and age and moving forward with the rapid evolution of technology, not just AI, but everything. Are we now looking at the workforce? Are you hiring for the technology experience and then bringing them in to train them up on the construction experience? Or are you bringing them in for the construction experience and then training them up on the technology experience? There's not one answer, but it's happening. And like, where to focus your workforce development program at your company, if you're eventually going to be a tech-driven company, or a company that relies on smart data and analytics through processes and different innovations that you've worked on for years to get to a certain point to establish a high level of performance at your company. So, I think the expectation wise is you can't force a culture shift. It's never a good thing. Or you're not gonna. Of course, I've learned my lesson. Walking on to a job site with a drone or a laser scanner, just like, what are you doing? Like, why are you? What are you trying to accomplish here? Like, okay, but that wasn't. You're not there to force or anything, right? It's okay. Let's go in.
Let me show you how cool this is.
That's one thing too, right? It's always the nice to have, cool, but see you in a few weeks or something. But once you start working closely with these field teams, again, the ones that are building, and then rolling in, whether it's a piece of software or a piece of hardware, into their workflows, you're looking for that aha moment, that win on both sides. And I don't know what it looks like, what it sounds like, right? But it's going to happen, where that superintendent, that foreman, realizes, okay, this makes sense. Now, with that level of influence, I can help the people around me and start bringing them up. And that could filter back to the company. Now, are you rolling out more of a workforce development initiative around, using something like building information modeling, 3D models, or laser scanning, or drones, or hey, we established an AI policy. This is how we're going to use AI at our company. Here's the right thing to do. Here's what you don't do with AI, and having that open dialogue. And then seeing how do we visualize technology training in our craft training programs. You guys mentioned ABC, obviously, and what does that look like? Whether it's through our student chapter networks in the universities and how they're pushing technology in, and then if you go to an apprenticeship classroom, a lab space, what are the strategies to push technology into there to ensure while they're learning their craft, becoming experts in that, they're also getting taught what's almost common on some of these technology fronts in the field. So by the time they become a journeyman, there's not as much heavy lifting on the company they already work for, the company they will be working for in the future. And they have the know-all on certain products.
Yeah, and I definitely
Incredible.
think that this is going to help attract the next generation to our industry with this AI and tech.
Yeah, both males and females.
I agree. Yep.
And those that are physically limited. I think there's so many opportunities, right, for everyone in the industry, more so than we've ever had in our history of the industry. So that's exciting. I do want to, and I didn't have this on my questions, but I think it's really important to our listeners. We talked about a lot of acronyms, right? The Associated Builders and Contractors know what these acronyms are, right? STEP and EIC. Can you just share with our audience, what those two are vaguely? And then I just want to recommend to our audience, if you're listening, go to ABC's website. Learn what excellence in construction is, right? EIC, and learn what STEP is, because STEP is actually going to take your company to the next level. But I'd love to hear from Patrick, his thoughts on both of those.
Yeah, my first recommendation is for anything STEP and within the health and safety and total human health environments within the industry and at ABC. I'm gonna name drop here. You go to Joe Xavier. He's our senior director on that side, and he will talk your head off about this in a good way, right? And he'll have, I dropped a little bit of data today, right? Just on the tech stuff. Man, that guy, he's got it all, and he'll tell you the value of what our STEP health and safety management system really means for a member. It's not an awards program. It's a way. And again, looking back when I was a member, like you're looking at yourself in the mirror and evaluating your safety program at your company, and you're discovering gaps. And then within these gaps, you go, okay, we can improve now. We can have such a strong safety culture. And, that plays into EIC a little bit, but, with EIC transitioning over to that, the excellence in construction, we're awarding the best of the best in our industry. And that happens at the chapter level with our 67 chapters, or at the, our national convention is, oh my gosh,
very soon.
Coming up quick. In March, we have our EIC Gala. And that is, what an evening that is. I can't name all the I'm not going to go. I don't know all the
Yeah, there's so many.
That's a whole episode on
for itself. Yes.
And just talking about this size project, this type of project, right? Man hours, this and that. And again, I like to just focus on its contractors of all sizes. It's not just the biggest and building the biggest projects that get all the publicity. It's not. It's just about the built environment, and it's everything.
Thank you for clarifying that for those that are listening that may not even know, what we're talking about, right? They may never have heard of Associated Builders and Contractors. Well, they probably have now because Angela and I talk about it all the time. But ABC is a proud supporter of CONEXPO. So the reason we got to meet Patrick and get involved, Erica Walters, she's the kindest and most knowledgeable PR representative for ABC. I don't know her exact title, and I apologize for that, Erica, if you're listening, and I know you are. The reason we got to meet Patrick is we're all going to ConExpo in March, 2 weeks before ABC's convention, and that's in Las Vegas. ABC is a proud supporter of ConExpo and ConAg, and you're going to be there. Yep. But tell me, when people walk the show floor this March, what technologies or themes do you think will have the biggest workforce impact over the next couple of years based on that showroom floor? Actually, it's not a showroom because it's so big it has to be held at the fairgrounds, right?
It's the entire convention center inside and outside in Las Vegas. But ABC, so Associated Builders and Contractors, we will be there as an industry partner and an education partner, recognizing
Love
that
that.
an event like
Mhm.
ConExpo, this happens every 3 years. It's one of the biggest in the entire world for this industry to get
Mm-hmm.
together, and you got, I mean, so many smart people there, just from all sectors of construction. It's so fascinating. When it comes to your question about the technology, just name it, it's going to be there. And I think at an event like that, you're going to see a lot around equipment management and tool management through like telematics and understanding how these we'll say earth moving equipment, because there's so many out there, but they're going to be autonomous one day, and a lot of these big manufacturers are already working on that, and some have rolled it out in other industries, whether it's mining or something adjacent to construction. And how does that, what does that look like for our workforce moving forward? It's seeing that you're an operator, we will need operators, we need that knowledge, to now you could be an operator managing maybe 3 pieces of equipment on a greenfield site that's wide open, and you're sitting monitoring it with literally your computer monitors in front of you, because with the data that we have and with the technology, it's doing the work autonomously in the field. And that's a transition in the workforce. And how
Yeah.
are we bringing that construction knowledge together with the technology knowledge? And that's just one example. But there's there's going to be a lot of talk around that.
Mm-hmm.
Ground control, accuracy, laser scanning. As you're digging, it's things laser scanning, giving you just as built as you're digging, and
That's
getting
cool.
away from going back with a pencil and a
Yeah.
set of 30 by 42 drawings and manually drawing it out. It's no, you're just capturing it as you're
As you're
working.
doing it. Yeah. That's so
Yeah.
cool. So cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Patrick, for sharing all
Yeah.
your wisdom today. We would love to be on here for another hour because there's plenty to talk
Yes.
about. And I know that you are very excited about the workforce and getting folks excited about the construction industry. And that's literally why Angela and I started the podcast. There are people out there that don't even know
Mhm.
what options they have available to them to go to work, right? And I was a single mom when I fell into it. I was older, and it was the best thing ever happened to me. I was an accountant in a cubicle, and it was terrible. And I was good at it, but I was terribly unhappy with that situation in my life. And I found construction and fell in love with a set of blueprints. And the next thing you know, I now get to be a leader. So, it's just you can create your own path. And I love that your story is very similar, Patrick. You've created your own path, and now you're in a place where you're really enjoying life, right? With this committee that you're building, and finding ways to integrate AI with construction industry, with some of the top leaders in the United States, both small and large companies. And it's just a really interesting place to be. And I'm so glad to hear your story today. We appreciate it. And I know our listeners do too. Before we wrap up, can you just let our listeners know where to find you, how to join ABC if they want to, whatever it is you want our listeners to know, please share. And thank you for being with us today.
Yeah. So for ABC, I want to name some resources here. You can go to abc.org. There is a technology dropdown, and anything on the technology side, I would encourage listeners to explore any of our resources there, including the tech report that we talked about, a webinar series for ABC members. If you're not a member, figure out a way to find a local chapter. That's on abc.org. You can find your local chapter, you get in touch, find out ways to get involved. And we love thought leadership. We love getting these leaders in. We're a member driven organization, and we want to share these ideas and work together on making this the best industry, continuing to make it the best industry to work on or work in.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Patrick, for your time today. And I know our listeners have gleaned a lot of information out of this one. We appreciate you being on, and we'll see you at ConExpo.
Yes, thank you guys.